Hey scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and I'm here today in answer to a viewer request that I do a video on how to recreate the Mosaic Recipe Template if you don't have the template. So this particular template was a part of the first quarter 2021 secret box from Creative Memories. This is something that they're going to be doing once a quarter, where you basically purchase a box of exclusive Creative Memories products sight unseen. We did know that there was going to be a template in this box, and because I love the templates, I signed up for it, not knowing what it would look like. And I love this particular template. I just think it's so versatile, and I love the geometric shapes. So Becky asked me if there was a way to recreate this if you didn't get the template, because now the only way to get it is through a resale site or on eBay, and apparently they're super expensive. Thankfully, because of these cool geometric shapes, if you've been watching my videos for the last little while, you've seen that I've done a video with the 8-pointed star with the diamonds. I did the illusion boxes with kind of some of these diamonds and squares. And so I was willing to accept the challenge from Becky to create this exact layout if you do not have the template. So here's my result that I made. I mean, I did use the template as my pattern, and I was fortunate to be able to do that, but this is the exact same template. I did not trace any of the pieces. I did all of this with my trimmer. Now, it did help me a lot that I had the template. That helped me to figure it out how I needed to cut the pieces. And so in order to replicate this template design for yourself, you are going to need 8 45-degree diamonds cut at 1.5 inches for the center, 8 squares cut at 2 1/8 inch, another 8 45-degree diamonds cut at 1.5 inches that go around here, and then 2 3 1/8 inch squares that you're going to cut in half diagonally. And so I'm going to show you how to do all of those pieces quickly and hopefully easily so that you can create your own. So the first thing you want to do is choose your papers that you want to use for your layout. Now, I don't think that this would work very well with stripes. You could do it with an all-over pattern. Polka dots, something like that would probably be fine. For the sake of practicing, you may want to start with cardstock. That's what I did. I found that to be the easiest method for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I did one in blue, and I'm going to do one in reds and pinks. And I think I'm going to do it this way, with the raspberry will be the center, the light pink will be the squares, the red will be the side diamonds, and the sangria red will be the outside triangles. So in order to do this, you're going to need to create one of those little trusty angle cutters. Now you can just measure and cut on the Creative Memories trimmer using this 45-degree angle line. But thanks to the awesome Megan Jacks, she taught in one of her videos how to create a template that just makes cutting so much easier. And so I'm just going to take this piece, I think it's about 4x6 of chipboard, extra chipboard from a paper pack, and I'm going to line it right up on this 45-degree line, making sure that the point is past the cutting line. So you know the cutting line is the one that's closest to the CM logo. And so I'm going to just go ahead and cut this off, and this is going to give me a 45-degree angle cut, and it's going to be a template. Then I'm going to take this piece, actually I'm going to write on here that it's a 45-degree angle, because if you've been watching me for a while, you know I'm turning out to have several of these little templates in various angles. So then I'm going to washi tape it onto my trimmer temporarily. And I like to line the edge up with this little raised section of the base. I don't know what to call this part. The little fence. I always like to call these things a fence that keeps stuff from falling off the edge, because you want your trimmer, your track to be able to close. And if you go in too far, this is going to block your track and you're not going to be able to cut. So line your edge of your template up with the edge of this little fence, and then just take some washi tape. Any washi tape is going to be fine. A little bit wider washi tape might be easier. Washi is so nice because when you take it off, it doesn't leave any sticky residue. So I wouldn't use, you know, masking tape or anything like that unless that was your only option. When you put the washi tape on this straight edge right here, you want to stick it to the template first and then just kind of take your fingernail and really wedge it down there so that you get a pretty sharp angle with the washi tape, because you're going to use this to position your paper and you want to have a straight edge to balance that. Oh, I should have cut my other pieces first. Darn it. Okay. The first thing I need is 2 sheets of 1.5 inch wide paper for my 45-degree diamonds. So even though this is on here, I'm going to cut measuring on that side and the top, and I think it will be all right. But I should have cut these 2 first. All right, so now we're going to cut 1, 2 at 1.5 inches. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and cut my 2 strips of the red that I'm going to use for the outside diamonds. 1.5 and 1.5. And then I'm going to cut all of these the same way to get my diamonds. So the first piece you want to do is to take one of the edges, line it up right here along your template. And you can put the template at the top if you prefer. I think maybe because I'm doing the videos, I don't know, I tend to like to work down here at the bottom. So that's a little bit easier for me. But I'm just going to line this up so that the point, again, crosses that cutting line because I need to get the full width of this paper. So here's my first piece. Then you flip it over and position it again. And because this is a 1.5 inch diamond, I am going to put it at the 1.5 inch line. And then I need 8 of these. And I can get this size, I can get 5 out of 1 strip. See? And that would change based on how many you want to get. I think I can get 5. Let's see. Oh, just barely. If you see, that point is right on the line. So as long as you cut that first piece right, you may be able to get 5 from your first strip. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing with your second strip, except you'll only need 3. Because you need a total of 8. So trim off that first edge, flip it over, and you'll know that you've got it in the right way because you want this edge to line up with these vertical lines right here. So right here on the 1.5. All right, unfortunately, I do not know how to do that speedy zipping through measurement thing with cutting the diamonds. That's beyond my video technical capability. But thankfully, this is a pretty fast process once you have this template. And it would be also pretty fast right here using it on this 45-degree angle line. I just really like kind of having that crutch. Let's see if I can do one for you on the line. I just like having that crutch to know that I'm going to be exactly exact. And when you got a long piece, sometimes it bunks into that. So down here, I got all this space for my extra paper to go off. So here's 4. Let's see if I can get 5 out of this one. Okay, so this one I'm not going to try and cut 5 because if you look right here, you'll see that when I'm on that 1.5 inch line, my little corner here is off the edge. Except when I lift it up, it moves it away. So I would not be able to get a clean corner here because I'm a little too far this way. So I'm just going to take that off and cut my 4th piece. But since you need 8 anyway, you might as well just cut however it works for you. And of course, if you were doing this in a different size, you might be able to get more out of a strip. If you were doing it bigger, I mean, you could probably do this and increase the sizes of everything a little bit. I was not in the right frame of mind to do that math for you guys today. So we're just doing exactly like the template. So there's my 8 raspberry and my 8 red, and I'm going to take this off. And I do save these. If I weren't making videos, I would not have to remake these every time. So if you already made one of these from a previous project and saved it with the angles, you just want the 45-degree angle triangle. All right, so I'm done with the red and the raspberry. Next, I'm going to do my squares, and I need 8 of them at 2 1/8. And I know there are girls that I come to my in-person stuff. We don't like the 2 1/8 measurements. We like quarters. We like whole numbers, half numbers. But this is what this one works: 2 1/8. And so you're going to need 4 of them, or 8 of them. Sorry. And it looks like I can get 5 of these also at 2 1/8 out of one 2 1/8 strip, and then I'll have to cut another 2 1/8 inch strip. So hopefully you guys are able to see where I'm measuring. And like I say, you can measure up at the top if that's what's easier for you, but when I'm doing a video so that you can see what I'm doing, I measure down here, but that's completely your preference, what you want to do. And then the final pieces that you're going to need are the outside corners, and we just need 2 of those. And again, these need to be at 3 1/8. And you're going to cut 2 squares at 3 1/8. And then we're going to cut those in half. And unfortunately, you cannot use this little template to help you cut those angles because this has to be on here. And anyway, because this angle line is what would line up with this, and it just doesn't work. So you could use this up here if you wanted to make sure your lines are straight. I am able usually just to line it up, especially right now. My mat is really close to needing to be flipped. And just line up your edges. If you're not confident about being able to cut exactly, these little sight lines this is a perfect job for them, to line these up so that the line in here lines right up with the point. So you can see that. I hope you can see that. Lighting's a little bad. So the sight lines are great here to make sure that you have these right where you want them. But I'm able to see, because this is an old cutting strip, I can see right where I've been cutting. So there are my 4 corners. Okay, so that is all the cutting that you're going to need to do for this. Let's move these little guys out of the way. And then I have this template. You could look at a picture from the of somebody else's mosaic template or whatever to show me how to arrange it. And this part was a little tricky because turns out with the template, it really helps you with positioning and where things need to be. So what I did was I took my 0 centering ruler, and I have my grid cutting mat right here. And I was able to find where the middle is on this mat. So I lined it up here. Made it nice and straight, and then the center line is right here for me. I can see the measurements down here. I don't know if you guys can see them. I guess you can't see them. And then I'm going to mark on the 0 centering ruler. Here's my center, but write it pretty lightly because you don't want this to show. And then you're not actually going to want to use this exactly. Let's see, I'll do it that way so I can see. Because if you look at the real template, you're going to see that there's a space here in the middle. And you're going to leave this kind of big circle, and there's about 1/8 of an inch. It's not exactly 1/8 of an inch. It's kind of it's not 1/16 of an inch, but it's not 1/8 of an inch. I don't know what this measurement is. And so this part of the project just requires a whole lot of eyeballing. So I'm going to take my pieces, and then you're going to want the repositionable tape runner for sure on this one. And so I'm going to take my ruler and line it about what in my mind is about a 1/16 of an inch. And then I'm going to use this line right here that's a 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to line up my first one and then the second one. But then all I did the whole rest of the time, I just kind of had to fiddle with this the whole time to get my pieces where I wanted them. Leaving an equal distance of space, lining up these 2 points as best you can. And it's just fiddly. I had a conversation recently about this word fiddly, and it fits this particular project exactly, because when I get to this point and I put this in, I can already see that it doesn't quite line up. So then I just had to stretch it out a little bit, pull these. Anyway, I'm just going to put these in temporarily. They're not going to line up great because I found for me the easiest way was to come in from the outside and position all those pieces. So now I'm going to take these. I did stick these down just to keep me in the right, so that I know where my center is. I'm going to put all my squares down. And then I'm going to take my red diamonds, and these go here. And you can see right now the lines just look horrible. Uh-oh, am I short one red diamond? Can I not count? Apparently I cannot count. Luckily, I've got this right here, and I've got this right here. I'm just gonna stick this down and cut. See, if this had been a Facebook Live, somebody would have told me that, Nicole, you didn't count to 8. All right, there's diamond number 8. And then these last outside 4 triangles. Actually, looking at those, those are a little darker than I think that I like. And so what I did here was, again, I pulled out my 0 centering ruler. And when you use a regular template, they leave a border around the outside. And again, I don't know what the measurement is. It's about a 1/2 inch. If I measure on here, it's almost exactly 1/2 inch. And so that's kind of the measurement that I used to position the rest of my pieces. And if you use this 0 centering ruler, let's see, I need a piece of paper to go underneath it. On one side, you can see that there is no line measuring on the inside. This has a 1/4 inch line, but the other is just the measurements. So I'm going to use this side of it that has that 1/2 inch line. I'm going to flip it over, I'm going to line it up, and I'm just going to put the 1/2 inch line right over the edge of my paper so that I know that it's on there. Line it up with the top and bottom. And then again, I'm going to use probably a lot more repositionable adhesive than I would like. And I'm going to put this corner, let's scoot this up. Sorry about that. This corner I'm going to put at the 1/2 inch mark right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing here at this very first measurement is the 1/2 inch mark. All right, and I'm lining it up with the edge of my ruler to keep it straight. And then I'm just going to go around clockwise and do the same thing because I may need to shift this a little bit more. So as you can see, you really would want to have that mosaic template if you possibly could. But if you don't mind spending a little bit of time, it is possible to recreate the look. I actually think that's not quite the 1/2 inch line. I'm gonna scoot it up a little bit. Go all the way around using this. Wouldn't have to be the 0 centering ruler. We also had a ruler before that was just a normal ruler. See, I'm not lined up right here though. That's the hardest problem I'm having, is getting my pieces straight where I want them so that I feel like I'm starting with something that's centered and straight. And then again, use your repositionable, line up these lines, that 1/2 inch, and you just kind of have to eyeball that 1/8 of an inch-ish border in there to get that look. There is some CM advisor out there, I'm positive, that did a video of this before CM even came out with the template. When Becky asked me if I had done a video, I looked for that other advisors. Unfortunately, I don't remember who it was. I do follow a whole bunch of other CM advisors, YouTube and Facebook, and I know it's out there. So apologies if there's an easier version out there than my kind of thrown together, how can I make this work without any guidance. I was not a math major, so some of this angly stuff, even though I like it, is a little bit out of my area of confidence. Although I will say my favorite math in high school was geometry, and I guess that counts for these little shapes. All right, so now I've got these 4 down, and then I'm going to put the pink squares in. And at this point, you may decide you need to move some things around. And like I said, I don't know any way to avoid just some of the fiddly positioning because we don't have a template. It's just, especially that one that's scooted. It's just going to be a matter of moving these around so that you are pleased with the position. Like the straight lines to me are a little bit easier to align than the angle lines. So I'm just eyeballing these lines right here. Just to kind of get all of these in position, and then I will go back and work with these shapes and line up the 2 straight lines, kind of line up with these squares. Oops, apparently I was erasing. So this is a little bit, just make it so that you are happy with the positioning. And for me, that ends up making a bigger space in the middle than I think I originally started with. You can see right here on this side, I'm kind of way off. So where would you put a picture on this? I don't know. To me, this feels like this is more of a, maybe a title page. Of course, if like me, you feel like your center is not exactly as centered as you would like it, you could very, very easily just take your picture and put it right over the top. I mean, and then it wouldn't matter that your piece wasn't as good. But I mean, that's pretty close to the template, if I do say so myself. So you can see my lines weren't quite right on all of these, but without the template to position it, I think that's pretty good. And of course, if I weren't trying to do this on a video, I would probably, and I will probably fiddle with this a little bit more. I'm going to erase my little pencil line here in the middle. And there you go. So Becky and anybody else out there that didn't get the Mosaic recipe template from Creative Memories and wishes that they had, here's a workaround. Obviously, it took quite a bit longer to do it this way and not quite as precise. I would probably stick that down a little bit more with a little bit more repositional adhesive. But hopefully this is what you were hoping for, Becky, and this will allow you to recreate this design. If you are interested in the secret boxes, contact your Creative Memories advisor. I'm pretty certain that they're going to release them in April. They'll put them up for sale for a couple weeks in April, and then you can purchase the mystery box and then we will open them together. I'm pretty sure at the Worldwide Virtual Crop, it might not be worldwide, on the second weekend in May. If you do not currently have a Creative Memories advisor, I would love your business. I will put the link to my CM website in the comments, as well as to my personal website that has information about all my events and a link to sign up for my email list. So if you create this mosaic, I would love to hear how it went. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask those of me in the comments. Thank you so much. Happy Easter and happy scrapbooking.